Hello everybody, it's Eric Freeze, and here is this 16-inch Bay Breeze oscillating fan. This is a SMC product. This was made in 1993, I think. I'm not going to take the motor housing back off to check. Uh, this fan's just a freak show. that's that's all I can say about it. The fan itself it's a really nice fan, but this particular instance has just been absolute garbage for me. Um, the oscillator in this fan is very worn out. The blade on it's crazy off balance, and it, for some reason, even though I keep wiping the base down, like dust and dirt just keep showing back up on it for whatever reason. So it's yeah, and the final production of it, like I was almost finished, and my father stepped in on me while I was filming. So this whole fan and everything with it has just been a freak show. And yeah, so we're gonna run this fan. We're gonna do some blade swaps that I've already done, but I'll do it again anyway. But this is this is I'm just gonna ignore the doggo. But this is pretty much a rebadged Super. It has the Canadian safety grill on it. Actually, I don't think this is nearly as thick as a Canadian grill, but it is thick enough that I can't, well, this I can stick it in here because this is bent. But that's beside the point. But you can't, or you're not supposed to be able to stick. Now that's stuck. But now it's making a fool out of me, because earlier when I was doing it, it was just fine. Now it's fine. But there's that. Here's a more modern SMC grill. This is from a fan from 2005, and with ease, even through here, and it just kind of bends and moves out of the way. Whereas with this one, even right here, where the guard is kind of bent, it does move out of the way a little bit, but can't get the thing in there. So yeah, I think it was sometime in the 70s when Canada started doing this to their guards, and then all the way up until your late 90s, early 2000s, they did away with it. And this fan was sold domestically here in the States. These have popped up on Ripoff Place a bit. The Jordan U has one of these. I think it's a 12-inch variant, which is strange because I think it's the only instance I've seen of a 12-inch is the one that Jordan has. But in my area on Ripoff Place, one of these showed up new in box. That was 16-inch, as well as another one sometime later last year that was also 16-inch. And I believe there's actually another 12-inch I found on Google Images. But yeah, I've only seen these like pop up for sale. Never actually find any like information for one of these like online when I looked for it. So like when I typed in the brand and stuff, I couldn't find anything. So these are definitely obscure. There's also a 16-inch stand fan too that I saw as well, and that one had the that'd be like the older SMC stand fans, like the ones that have these square buttons. So these are made pre-Medea, I'm pretty sure, because the motor in this is probably made by Medea, but it has Shell Electric Holdings on the bottom of it, and I know for a while, because as late as like 2003 or so, you could still find SMC fans like this that had Shell Manufacturing Company or Shell Electric Holdings on the bottom of it, or on the sticker, before they switched over to GD Medea Environmental Appliance Company Limited. So yeah, it's not a fan video, an oscillating fan video, unless I just take a deep dive into OEMs, because that's always what it seems like happens here, and that's kind of why I like these, is because you can find a lot of these fans under different brands. But we'll get into the test. We'll fire it up on low speed. The bearings on it are really nice, despite despite the fan blade just being crazy shaky. It's like that. I checked it. The blades are on clock. At least they appear to be on clock. They're definitely not balanced right, and I tried balancing them, but it didn't balance. It didn't balance the way I wanted it to. Or whatever. I mean, I'm not in the mood right now to make a video, but I want to get a video of this done so I can get this out of here. It's actually shaking really bad on low speed. It wasn't doing that earlier, but yeah. So here's low speed. This fan is crazy efficient, being that it is a PSC motor. Right now on low speed it is drawing 42.4 watts and 0.35 the amps. So not even a half an amp that this thing is drawing. Here's medium speed. The guard starts to shake a little bit. There's a bit of a rattling noise coming from the motor. And it's at 0.38 amps, which I think, is that the same that it was at on low? Or it's 3.4. Yeah, 0.34. So not much of a change in power draw between the two speeds. You probably see a better change in wattage. It's at 45 the watts on high speed. Oh my gosh. This thing I think is like getting worse each time. 0.42 amps. 0.42, or is it 3? Yeah. Still less than a half a amp. 49 watts and a power factor of 0.98. So this thing's crazy efficient. We're going to try to engage the oscillator. The issue is with how much it shakes, the oscillator just disengages. Like that. Now I found that if I tilt the head up, it doesn't disengage. Well, it just disengaged. My whole table is shaking right now. Now, when I originally got this fan and I did the initial test of it, it didn't shake like this. It's actually so powerful that it is moving the blades on the ceiling fan. And the other ceiling fan. So it's crazy powerful. Like, this is, I really like this fan, and I was looking forward to using this, but how unbalanced this is with this original blade, I can't really use this. It's just not good on the fan or whatever surface I put it next to, and it also makes it very loud. The whole motor housing's just shaking. Low speed seems to be the most tame. I wanted to be able to actually use this in the bedroom, because I have I got this one fixed up because the fan I had in my bedroom right now, I don't really like it. I might just fix up the fan I had in there prior to all of this and just use that. So this one will most likely just sit in storage with the other two fans or whatever, but maybe if I do have a 16-inch Galaxy I can get working. I might just use that. And if I'll disengage this. I'm going to push this over here so where it's probably in the camera view, but it's all the way on the opposite side of the garage. Normally I test it kind of going forward, but it's, I need that all the way over toward where the man door is. This fan, like, from a distance, it's not very powerful, but you can feel air. It's not a choppy airflow like a lot of other fans are. This one's just a direct beam, and I like that. I like fans that kind of move air like this. With the high. Skip medium for now. And high residential fan you can get today. It just sucks that it shakes so bad. Do a spin down and then I'll kind of show around the fan, like the back and stuff. Picked this up at Habitat for $7, which is way too much. When I got this fan, it was in really rough condition. It was kind of covered in like a greasy substance, like if it was used in a kitchen. The blades had a lot of dirt on them. The oscillator was broken, so I cleaned it up, tried to get the oscillator working. I fixed the oscillator arm. That's what was broken on there, and I got it to work for a bit, but it kept getting jammed up. So I added grease to it, and it still was getting jammed up. So I took the oscillator apart again. And I re-greased, like there's a metal bushing that goes around the main lever gear that the arm hooks onto, and I put grease in between that and the plastic, and that finally got the oscillator working. The like it engages very strange. It doesn't like engage like how it's supposed to. So now it feels fine, but very strange. Also, in relation to the lore of this fan, even though I did explain it a bit more, I don't know where the Baby's brand was sold at. I think I may have came across a catalog or an advert that said it was from TG&Y, but I'm not sure. That could be very wrong. If anyone knows, please let me know, because I actually want to know. These were the one I saw new in box. It was branded as Breezeway, or Baby's by Breezeway, or something like that. So I do remember that. There was also ceiling fans that I found online when I looked up this brand, and they were all just relabeled SMC products, like U52s and DC52s and stuff. So SMC fans, they're just rebranded. So Baby's obviously was related to SMC. It has a really beefy neck on it, very similar to like an old 70s desk fan. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But then on the other side, the neck is just yellow. Has this very odd motor housing. I've seen this motor housing on Supers, but never really any sort of other SMC fan I've seen over here in the States. This might just be a bit too old. It also has this sticker that goes down the center of the fan, which sadly the glue is coming off, so I'll have to fix that at some point. It's still kind of held on there for now, but I'll fix that up before I intend on actually using it. So I have some other blades here. I tested them in the prior video, and I was actually testing one of them before I was interrupted. And we'll kind of go through and test them again, and just see how bad they shake. So I said this already. I know I said it in the first video, but I'm not sure if I said it in this one. But I had this fan over at my friend's house. We were working on it over there for several weeks. And when we were testing it, like today before I brought it over here, I was testing paper clips on the blades. I had a hard time actually finding out which blade was heavier. The bearings on this are really good, but it doesn't it's nowhere near as intuitive as it should be. So I'm going to try this blade. This is off a 2005 Ocean Air stand fan, which is an SMC product. This will be our first testing culprit. And this one is not very impressive. This one still shakes really bad. It has, it's also a bit louder. These blades here, they're very thin. Like, they're crazy thin. And in this one here, it's hard. So, these stiffer blades, like, they perform way better. Now this blade's a bit lighter, so it spins faster. Another reason why I think it might also spin faster is with the centrifugal force, the blades kind of flatten out, since they don't really have much structure to them and they're not meant to run on a motor this fast. But yeah, but I'd say the performance of this blade and the blade that was on here before is almost identical. There is a sound difference. It still shakes, but not nearly as bad. Engage the oscillations. Actually, this is better than how it was before, so. The main thing is will it stay running on high speed and oscillation without jumping off of oscillation? That's kind of the main goal here. Now, it's not a good idea to use these fans on oscillation. I haven't done the electrical tape hack yet where I put the electrical tape on the head wire and keep it from scraping through the motor. I'll do that if I decide to run this on oscillation for any period of time. Normally I don't leave my fans running on oscillation for a while unattended. I normally just do it if I want to circulate the air in the room somewhat quickly. And here's low speed. And the performance on this blade is amazing. It's, once again, it's on par with the other one. Since it's lighter, it spins faster. That's about it. That's kind of the only difference. It's also a lot louder since it is spinning faster. Now with these Canadian safety guards, they are a bit more restrictive. I know a lot of people, they've been knocking these guards. They say that they don't really let enough air through. And on some fans, yeah, I will say that, but on this, it seems to be pretty okay. As long as it's not like a horizontal guard. If it's something like this, it's kind of circular, since the air kind of travels out in this circular pattern, it works a lot better. So, that's how, I'd say, like, I'll call this like a radiant style guard since these go outwards, but the ones that kind of swirl around into the center, those ones they don't work too well, and the anything vertical or horitan, well, I mean horitan, vertican, or fuck, vertican, horitan. Wow, I need more rest. We'll turn this off, and then we'll switch over to our other blade. This blade here is off of a more modern Medea fan. I think it was made a couple years ago. I found this on the side of the road, and the grill on it was busted, like the back connector piece to the motor housing, so I'll have to replace that. But it was one of those DC fans, the DC motors. And I think it was like a 15 speed or something, but it has this really nice acrylic blade. It's a very quiet and powerful blade, and this might actually be the blade I'll use with this fan. This one here is pretty good too. If I can find a gray one of these, or a gray blade like this, I'll probably keep that on here permanently. I believe you can still buy a whole bunch of like aftermarket fan blades on www.amazon.co.uk or the Jungle site. I believe both the Super Fan Man and the Jordan U has actually purchased some blades from the Jungle site and tested them out on previous fans. Now this one is nice. I've had an issue with it kind of scraping against the back grill if you bend the grill in a certain way. It also looks very goofy on this fan. Like, very goofy. But this blade, I think, has the best performance yet. I think this performs better than the other blades that were on here. Oops. It's going to actually fit on here. There we go. This will probably stay on here after the test for the time being until I find a better blade. But, yeah. So, fire this up on high speed. Has a higher pitch noise, more of a high velocity noise. It's also a bit more choppier than the other two. But I feel like the air movement's a lot better. We'll engage the oscillations. On this blade, it does not pop out of oscillations, which is nice. This one shakes the least out of the three I've tested. I might have some more blades. I have a Lasco 16-inch blade from like a 90s Lasco oscillating fan. That's another one I think will perform quite good. This feels amazing, actually. It almost looks kind of like a super. And that is a train in the background. And then we'll drop it to low speed. Has a very nice, gentle low speed. It's also very quiet. Point it over towards the doorway, and we'll do a test from afar and kind of see how this compares to the other blades. Actually, from over here, the breeze isn't nearly as good as low speed on the other ones, but I don't really want powerful low speed. But it still has a nice strong breeze, and it's a lot quieter. So, I'll say this is a win. Medium. Also, something to note is this fan has a really good range of speeds, and there's barely any like current difference between the speeds. This medium speed is actually really nice. I'd say this medium speed right now, the air it's putting out is comparable to a Galaxy 2150 oscillating fan on high speed. If you don't know what that is, that's one of those amber blade Lasco fans from the 80s, which were very common. Thought about just using this fan out in the garage because of such low speed, just because of how it performs and how shaky it is. But even on the shelf I'd put this on it, I'd still be worried about a bunch of stuff falling off around it, so I might just have to use one of these alternative blades. High speed with this blade isn't nearly as powerful as the other two, so not nearly as good, I guess. What I might do is, I'm not sure if the other blade's like warped ever so slightly from sitting, so I don't know if like running it for a little while would like fix it, but it might also be worth a try. I really like this fan though. I'm glad to have this in my collection. So that's this 16-inch SMC Super Bay Breeze oscillating fan. Breezeway, whoever this was branded as, possibly TG and the Y. Yeah. So I'll wait for this to spin down and I'll end the video. Actually, spin down isn't nearly as good as this blade. It's probably because it's a lot lighter weight. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and keep the breeze.